What's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, we'll be talking about the Bitcoin price chart because we've got a lot going on here, along with the altcoin market, which is completely in green, to discuss a dynamic we've been looking for over here in Bitcoin and in the altcoins. And when it comes to the safety trade dominance and whether things are about to kick into gear over here. We'll take a look over here at gold, which has set another new all-time high. Uh-oh. We'll peek over here at the XRP price chart, which sits at $3.12, but mostly talk about the dynamics that we're seeing here in the market. Just this morning, we've seen a pop-up here with Bitcoin. It's gotten as high as $106,400. It's really the kind of thing we've been looking for to happen over in here because, as we've discussed, when it comes to this dynamic of seeing the dominance start to crumble on itself, what environment were we in when that happened? Well, we were in a distribution phase happening for Bitcoin, and we knew we needed to see prices come a little bit higher. Well, yesterday, of course, there was the Federal Reserve meeting. Saw a lot of price action, wishy-washy all over the place during that. But when we got done with that, we're like, all right, now time to start seeing, does this thing start moving? Well, we could see here for the last couple of hours, we've started going in the right direction. But what's interesting is looking over here on this screen is that really most of the market sits above Bitcoin down here. So that kind of rotational behavior happening here in the market is at least present today. However, for the days and weeks moving forward, looking for that to try to continue. So if you were to do something along this, you would think that Bitcoin would really just kind of stall out in here for a little while, and that we would actually start to see something emerge over here where this outperformance continues for days on end, and especially as we get into February. Now, I think something that's interesting is that we've seen gold go higher, right? You know, trying to put all of those things into perspective, all these talks that we've had about like rotational tops happening over there in the equity markets, you know, things like Roblox and ARK, these things could catch their retracements in moments like this where maybe things like Nvidia and big tech lose their steam, that it may not be surprising that part of that rotation may already be happening over here into gold. But when we see things like this happen to gold, we don't tend to see a whole lot come out of things like Bitcoin, right? So are we also getting that signal from gold right now that this is the correct take to be looking at Bitcoin from, that there's really not more to go from it? So is it a confluence factor to say this thing is actually distributing up in here? And it might be. Again, the clear as day way to know if Bitcoin is distributing is if we actually do end up starting to see that happen in here from the safety trade dominance and we start seeing altcoin outperformance. And really starting today is when we were hoping that we would start seeing it as we got done with the Fed meeting yesterday, and we are seeing it so far. So the way I interpret gold's behavior is that it's probably pointing to that this is probably the right view to be having of the market right now until something different changes. And that all these last couple of days with all the posts all over X saying no alt season's going to come with Bitcoin's dominance back at its 702 retracement right in here. Well, was that really just retail capitulation versus Bitcoin? Because we saw that same thing happen with the total market cap versus XRP, right? When it came off of those great heights up in there, it really roared right back up to there and then fell on its face, which of course was the lift off of XRP, right? So as we get towards the end of this month, I think we're seeing the things that we want to see happen in here. I think we're kind of getting those flashes happening from things like gold, also signaling that this could be what's going on in here. And considering we reached right where we were thinking that we're going to start seeing the outperformance begin, we happen to see that exact thing going on over here in the altcoin market where nearly everything is outperforming Bitcoin today. XRP is kind of staying right in line with Bitcoin today. However, I don't think that will last for long. I think we're really reaching that cusp of things to start getting to move. So as for me, the things that I'm just going to be watching for is to see if this thing manifests itself here in the next couple of days. Waiting for some bigger breakouts to be able to take place throughout the cryptocurrency market. If we were to assume that this thing is going to go like this, then you wouldn't really expect much more from Bitcoin from in here. You'd expect it really to stall out for maybe even a couple of weeks right in here and not be able to do much while the altcoin market tries to take control. If gold catches a real bid, it probably is signaling the things that we've been talking about, that, right, are we really just getting really close to the end of the cycle? And that, you know, we're really just looking towards maybe the earlier half of March. However, what do you usually have before that? You have the parabola, the euphoria, the craziness, right? And we have all the narratives set up for that type of stuff to happen right now. I realize there's a lot of segmentation and sector-specific price action that's happened throughout the cryptocurrency market. And I just got done writing the newsletter that will be published tomorrow morning. And that's one of the things I dive into. I look through the sectors and the narratives and the price behaviors. And you really have two different kinds of markets happening in here. You have things like XRP that are all the way up in here, bucking up against the all-time high, like they're ready to go exploding into these massive bull runs. But then you have like layer twos of Ethereum and Ethereum that are right back to where they were when Trump won the presidency, right? And so this market, like the breadth has collapsed on itself and it's gone like to made in America and everything else, right? So it was hard for me to like realize like why is the sentiment so bad over there on X until like I started finally like really poking around in some of these different sectors, and it's like there's two totally different markets going on here in the crypto market right now. Like the Ethereum and the Ethereum ecosystem is just like completely checked out, and that's why there's all that capitulation. I didn't realize that of how big that separation was in there. Now, the good news is when you go into events like this, everything tends to participate in it. The big question is whether or not you're capable of getting a new all-time high or whether or not you're just going to end up getting a retrace. My suspicion is anything that's kind of like going back down to the lows, probably just looking at some type of retrace. Doesn't mean it can't get decent percentages to get back to that retrace. Some of those percentages are huge. But for things like going into new all-time highs, my guess is you would probably want to be showing some strength already. Like I think things that like have a shot at it are things like XRP, things like Hedera, things like Cardano, or those ones that have really started to kind of already show strength and maintain their composure during these last 2 months. But oftentimes, we get real kind of sucked into what a chart looks like and all-time highs. But in the end, the thing that always matters the most is percentages, right? Something could only retrace and the percentages could be way more than something that's going to break through the all-time high and go to a 4.236 extension. So all of them have to be measured. But typically in environments like this, everything does participate if we end up getting it. But it was interesting to really look around this market and look through the different sectors and see how the show has really been stolen by this made in America stuff. And when Trump launched his meme coin, how it really did obliterate the Solana meme coin market. And that's just added to kind of like that compounding negative sentiment in the market. So I don't know. I come with good news. Like I think things are looking good. I think you got Bitcoin kind of doing exactly what you would want it to do, because we've talked about this for the last several days, looking for something like that to show up, and that would be our moment where we could try to see our dominance start falling. We're in that moment. We said it yesterday. Now it's time to start looking for it. And then what do we end up having happen in here? We've got most of the crypto market outperforming Bitcoin by a significant amount today. So we'll look for a continuation of this in the coming days. And really, I don't see any reason to not be on like all-time high breakout watch over here for XRP and for something to just kind of happen at this point. I think we've kind of reached that moment where that could just kind of show up at any moment in time now. And I'm really optimistic for the month of February. But, it's having a bigger perspective and understanding that when you're watching this YouTube channel, and like things can always change. My opinions can always change if price formations change or something like that. But like right now, this is just kind of the mindset I'm having with it all, right? Like, hey, we're working on distribution. We're maybe somewhere around here in the distribution and we're waiting for dominance to fall, right? If something changes and the behavior changes, we'll be like, okay, well, let's try to figure that out and see what that difference is. But, if we start seeing the dominance fall and then we see prices behave like this, Bitcoin sets another high and then it goes into a retrace, right? That's going to be the moment of like, all right, I think I got to pull a lot of money out of this market now, right? To just not be surprised if that day comes, but that day is not today. And I'm really just actually kind of excited because we were looking for that to happen. And that we've waited to get to like literally this exact day to see if our dominance would start falling. And then we actually get the behavior to show up here in the market today, where we do see the altcoin market outperforming Bitcoin, and Bitcoin's really near the bottom of the list today. So it's a patience game. These things take time. Right now, we're just kind of looking for confirmation for this to actually play out, and it'll probably take several days to see if this does end up manifesting itself and laddering itself down to go take out new lows, and for us to get into a full-blown euphoria phase of this market. But so far, so good. Day one, the market's acting the way that we would hope that it would. We still see these behaviors happening over here in equity markets that still make me believe we're in a rotational market right now. And then I think gold is reinforcing that idea, which leads me to believe that I'm probably just going to be sticking with this idea over in here until further notice. And, criticize it all you want. I'm mostly in the altcoin market. I'm cheering for the altcoin market. So I'm excited, because this is the moment that we come here for. So things we'll be looking for are continued rises in things like the Russell 2000, which is up 1.35% today. A continued drop over here in the safety trade dominance, which is the Bitcoin dominance plus the Ethereum dominance plus USDT and USDC dominances. Look for a continuation over here of the altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. Random pop-offs happening here and there. And I think we've kind of set ourselves up at this point where the conditions are getting pretty close here for something to start happening over here on the XRP price chart. So day one is a good start over here. Thing we'll be looking for tomorrow is to see that we can do it again. And then again the next day. And if so, it probably seems like we've got this thing kicked into high gear as we are structurally set up exactly as we should be. So we'll check on it tomorrow. In summary today, market's acting just like we had hoped it would yesterday. The altcoin market is outperforming. Bitcoin shot its way back up. This is exactly where in 2021 we started seeing the altcoin market outperform. We've been watching that dominance. It's reached the moment. We're seeing the reaction today. Now we just need to see it do it for a couple of days to confirm that that's what is actually happening in here. Gold setting the new high. Is it confirming that idea that Bitcoin's probably running out of juice and we're reaching end of cycle behavior in here where things just rotate their way around? We'll see. But otherwise, we will check on it tomorrow and hopefully things look as good as they do today. So that'll be it for this one. Thank you for sticking with me throughout the week. I almost thought it was Friday for a second, but no, it's only Thursday, right? I've had C19 this week. It's been a pain in my side. Please refrain from the medical advice. I'm all good. I'm coming out the other side of it. But it's like, it's 2025. What is going on here? But tune in tomorrow. Hopefully we have some bigger moves coming in here. Hopefully we see a big wake up happen over here in XRP pretty soon. And then, of course, stay tuned for the new newsletter that will be published over here on blockchainbacker.substack.com. So you can check out the most recent one, which was published there a couple of weeks ago. And then, of course, tomorrow's will be published. You can check out bcbacker.com for over 40 videos and 11 hours of content teaching you how to set up your own charts and indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. There's links in the descriptions of all of my videos to bcbacker.com and in the newsletter at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Otherwise, I'll be hanging out over there on X today from bed, resting up. But till the next one, I'll catch you soon. That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.